Hey everybody, Mungo Dark Matter here. Today I thought I'd tell you what I really think about the Avengers Endgame movie. As you can imagine, there are going to be spoilers in this video because I'm going to talk about what I think about the movie and what I think some of the things mean in the movie for the future of the MCU, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as they call it. At any rate, so this is really your last chance to kind of bug out if you don't want any spoilers. Bug out, go see the movie, and come back and watch this. Unless you don't care about spoilers, or you've already had the movie spoiled for you, then you can go ahead and watch this video. So let me give you a second to go. All right. For those of you that stayed, I really enjoyed the Endgame movie. Didn't enjoy it as much as the Infinity War movie. And I'll tell you why. Because there were a lot of characters that I really liked in the Infinity War movie that got dusted at the end of it. And they didn't come back until the end of the Endgame, basically. At least most of them didn't. Some of them showed up, though, in kind of flashbacks or in the little scenes where they went back in time to try to get the Infinity Stones before they were destroyed by Thanos. See, in the movie, if you watched it, which you should have at this point, Thanos destroys the Infinity Stones so that nobody can use them and reverse what he did, basically. But so there are a few things in the movie that I kind of would have liked a little different. And one thing is, the beginning of the movie was a little slow and depressing, which how could it not be, you know? Really, I look at this movie as kind of a continuation of Infinity Wars, which it is, and so I look at them as really one movie that's just been kind of split in half. This is the end of the Infinity Wars, basically. I felt kind of ripped off at the end of the Infinity Wars, as the fact that I had to wait a year to find out what would happen. So really, it's nice to be able to watch both movies now. And so the beginning of it was a little bit slow. I think they could have cut maybe 15 minutes of the first 45 minutes out, and then use that 15 minutes at the end of the movie to go into what Captain America did to return the stones to the correct places in the timeline so that the timeline would not get all messed up. And because they really glossed over that, and I was actually, the whole movie, I'm like thinking, no, this is going to be cool. They're going to go back and have to return the stones. What will that mean? And so on. And then they kind of took care of that in just a couple of minutes. So I felt kind of ripped off about that. As far as the characters, there's some odd things going on, or some things that you may or may not like. The big thing, there were several big things in it, weren't there? First of all, Iron Man died at the end. And that's a little bit disappointing, really. I mean, I would have liked to have seen him kind of ride off into the sunset and retire. And to see him die at the end was kind of bad. I don't think he's coming back. I mean, they could bring him back, but I don't think so under these circumstances. Now, they may do what they did in some comics that I heard about, where they made a holographic version of him, I guess out of, a computer program that kind of simulated his personality and his memories. So that might happen in the future. I think one of the big things is that his daughter is eventually going to wear the Iron Man suit. Obviously, she won't be called Iron Man, but that's what happened in some of the comics as well. So that might be something to look forward to. That would be kind of interesting. The thing is that his daughter is like 5 at the end of this movie. So we're going to start to get some strange timelines in this movie anyway. Because by the end of the movie, it was 5 years in the future, and all of the other movies kind of have been going around the time period that they were shot in. So it's not like they've been in the future or in the past. They've just been kind of happening at the time we watch them at the theaters, or at least that's what you're led to believe. And at the end of this, 5 years had passed by the end, so I think we're like 5 years in the future at the end of this. At any rate, I'm gonna miss Iron Man. I really liked my Iron Man. He was one of the characters I really liked. The other character that's gonna be gone is Captain America. Now that's something that I didn't really totally understand. He went back and he fixed all the time stone stuff, but he didn't come back. Instead, he went on some path where he was able to get married to the woman that he was going to dance with in the first movie when he got frozen. So, what I don't understand is, would he risk that, or what are the implications of that? Because he could mess up the timeline doing that, which is what which was his mission, is to go back and put the stones in back, the Infinity Stones, like right at the time that they took them, or right after they took them, so they'll be available for other things. And then he's taking himself out of the timeline. I don't understand that. I really don't, in the implications. And it was a little bit depressing to see an old Captain America. I mean, I'm glad he got to live out his life normally and everything, but I really didn't see him old or anything like that, because that was just kind of sad and depressing. Because one minute he was young, and the next minute he was old. But I mean, time had passed. So those are two of the characters that we're going to miss, and I doubt Captain America is going to come back either. We might see Iron Man or Captain America doing cameos or flashbacks in some movies. Who knows? Or maybe we'll just see them, maybe we'll see the actors do cameos as a different character. That would be kind of interesting. Another person we're going to miss is Stan Lee. This is really his last cameo, because he died not that long ago. They de-aged him in the cameo, ironically, too, and he appeared in the 70s. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with that. They may have footage they can use. He may have filmed some extra footage that they could stick in somewhere. They could use CGI and get another actor like they did in Star Wars with the young Princess Leia and a few other actors in that. So there are some things they could do with that. Definitely the CGI is there, but it's just not going to be the same, is it? So, big disappointment to me is that Black Widow died in the movie as well. She's going to come out with a movie, and I've been looking forward to seeing a Black Widow movie, but that's going to be like a prequel or a Origins type movie, so it will be before all of this happened. I don't think she's coming back, because she was sacrificed for the Soul Stone, and that's supposed to be permanent. There's no ticky-backy on that, you know what I'm saying? The other person that died as a result of being sacrificed for the Soul Stone was Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy. And the interesting thing about that, and this is a mystery about the movie thus far, and we'll see what happens with it. She of course died in the previous movie, and in this movie, an earlier version of her came to the future. And how would that not mess up the timeline? You know what I'm saying? There's potential timeline mess up in that as well. Now, Tony Stark, Iron Man, used the Infinity Gauntlet and snapped Thanos and his minions into dust. Which, how does that not mess up the timeline too? I mean, yeah, that's going to mess up the timeline. Why even replace the Infinity Stones? The timeline is messed up. So that's kind of a flaw in the movie. Plus, at that point, Gamora disappeared, and so you wonder, did he snap her away? Did he snap her to someplace else in the universe? Did she sneak off? What happened to her? Because she wasn't at Tony's funeral at the end. And it looked like Time Lord was looking through databanks to see if he could find her. And so, yeah, I really don't know about that. And I really like the character Gamora. I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are probably my favorite of all the MCU movies. So I'm hoping she returns. And it looks like they're going to look for her. Maybe it would be like a movie like the old Star Trek movie with the original cast, The Search for Spock, where he dies in one movie and he comes back in the next and they search for him. So maybe it's something like that. I don't know. I'm going to miss her if she's gone. Now, the cool thing is, Thor, who's lost his planet, like, a couple movies back, has decided to go off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think will be great because him and Rocket together are just, they're amusing. What can I say? He keeps on calling Rocket a rabbit, which I find amusing, and you can tell Rocket doesn't like it, but he puts up with it because he knows that Time Lord is jealous of Thor, and so he wants to kind of agree with him sometimes. Although, when Time Lord isn't around and it's just Thor and Rocket, he's not, at least in this movie, he wasn't as kind as he's been in the past, because he messed with Thor a little bit more in this movie. So I'm looking forward to the next Guardians of the Galaxy. There's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They're supposed to start filming it soon. I think it's going to come out in 2020 or 2021. Can't remember. But I'm looking forward to that as well. And I think there's going to be another Thor movie from what I've heard too. And I've really enjoyed all of the Thor movies, although some people didn't really like the first two and they didn't do as well as they expected or something. I don't know. Great movies as far as I am concerned. So who have we gone? We've got an Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and who's one of the other original, their original six. Let's go through the original six. The Hulk. Now the Hulk in this movie was great. It was Professor Hulk, which is a combination of David Banner and the Hulk. Mark Ruffalo, who plays David Banner and the Hulk, they use him for the CGI of the Hulk. He's the best Hulk in David Banner I've ever seen in any movie or any TV show, bar none. And I really enjoy him in that part. So it will be interesting to see what happens to him. I really enjoyed the character of Professor Hulk, but I kind of missed him transforming. I really kind of liked the transforming deal. He did get knocked out of his body at one point by the wizard, the woman who taught Doctor Strange. And so they were able to use Mark Ruffalo just as Mark Ruffalo, but he was kind of transparent, so there was still some special effects there. That was an interesting way to be able to get him to just be like normal and not like part Hulk or whatever. I really enjoyed that character, though. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the future with him. The Hulk is really, as he's progressed through these movies, has gotten more and more interesting and more fun. So that's 4 of the original 6. Then we have Black Widow, who I already talked about. She's gone. That's 5. And then the Hawkeye, who lived. Hawkeye. I don't even think Hawkeye's scheduled for a movie. I enjoy Hawkeye, but I like Black Widow a little bit better. I almost wish Hawkeye was gone, but I mean, he adds to the movies. I don't want to wish that on him. He's a good guy and a good character. So those are the original six. What's happened to them? It will be interesting to see what other new Avengers show up. I think there might be a possibility that the kid that was in Iron Man 3 might become Iron Man. That would be kind of interesting. The reason I think that is because he was apparently showed up at Tony's funeral, so he was there. So that might happen as well. So those are some of the things to look forward to, I guess. Yeah, I think I pretty much discussed all of the things that kind of bothered me a little bit of the movie and what I liked about it. I think it was a good ending to Infinity War. Basically, it finished it off pretty well. It was long, but it was about 3 hours. But I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to the new movies and the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the future. I think what Spider-Man is going to be out in July, another Spider-Man movie, and see what happens from there. I'm Mungo Dark Matter, and whatever you do, enjoy the day, and I'll see you soon.